Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another How About Them Celtics video. Sam and I are here recording on Thursday, August 29th, and we're talking about Jayson Tatum, who finally talked about getting benched in the Olympics. He spoke with Jared Weiss of The Athletic for this article, talked about getting benched, a bunch of other stuff, but the stuff everyone cares about right now is the fact that he got benched in the Olympics. So that's what we're talking about today. I'll get right into it just for the sake of audience retention. He said it's one of those things where there's been so much talk and debate. There's a period of is he a superstar or not? Then it was a big debate like is he championship ready now? Then it's like how could he not get in the Olympics? I'm like, I just want a championship. It's the summertime. It might have been nice to get a little break. We don't turn on ESPN and they're talking about you, but I guess this is part of it. And that may be the level that I've reached now in my career. When you see it everywhere all the time, people are talking about it. I'm hearing about it. I'm like, man, I can only just imagine what he's going through. This is from Drew Holiday, who talked about it as well. Tatum said he wasn't moping around. I didn't have an attitude. I wasn't angry at the world. I stayed ready and did what was asked of me. And then he said, talking about not making a jump shot, said, I know I didn't make a jump shot when I was with Team USA. I don't know law of averages. It was a weird rhythm thing being with Team USA. You never exactly know when you're going to get the ball, but that's part of it. You sign up for that because I've done it before. But yeah, and then he said he's good because he's got a title and 2 gold medals. But Tatum weighed in. There you go.
He said exactly what everybody thought he was going to say.
Yep.
I mean, even during the whole saga, drama, whatever you'd like to call it, the consensus was this is how it was going. One thing that was very interesting that he mentions in this piece is he's been playing basketball since he was 3 at the YMCA, and he's never not played in a game. So it was a big adjustment for him. And it was something he had just never had to deal with. It was completely foreign. So I can imagine that after coming off being the best guy on the floor for probably, or best guy on your team for probably what? 20 of his 23 years playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty jarring just to be absolutely glued to the bench.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably the first time he's ever been not the best player on a team, if you really want to think about it.
Well,
well, outside, I guess the Olympics. I guess like
no,
other like
the first couple years on the Celtics, he wasn't.
Yeah, I guess, but even like the first year, like in the playoffs, he was the guy. Like they were looking for him. It wasn't the exact same, but like, I guess outside of that,
throughout the
the
playoff
year
run,
Kyrie
he was
came back,
the guy.
Yeah,
But
yeah, okay.
Throughout the
No, I know
season,
what
he
you mean.
wasn't, and the
Sure.
following year, he wasn't.
Yeah, that 2019 team, he definitely wasn't. But yeah, he said it was a lot of social media, all that stuff. The jump shot thing is funny, but that's just, I mean, we talk about this all the time. Like when we were saying like, oh, it's impressive that Pritchard can step in and make all the shots or Svi or something like that. Cause like, it's just objectively difficult to have / get a rhythm when you are not in the game ever. Then you just get in the game for 2 minutes and then you have to do it. Not impossible. Like Tatum still probably should have made a jump shot. Like that's not what I'm saying, but we talk about that all the time. I think the real place that talk comes from is the fact that he also wasn't a very good jump shooter for the last like the playoffs, the entire playoffs. He wasn't a good jump shooter. So I think that combined with this is where that discussion comes from.
Yeah, because the playoffs have the most eyes on it in terms of NBA content. It's just when the most people watch. And people who don't really pay attention much past that will remember Jayson Tatum not playing well, especially efficiency-wise. That is what they'll remember. He can't shoot. And then they see the Olympics and they're like, well, of course this guy's on the bench because he can't shoot. And he doesn't know how to play without the ball. And while he may not be super comfortable playing without the ball in his hands for all the reasons that we talked about earlier, where it was like, well, never not been the best guy. He could serve to learn a little bit about that. It would be nice if the Celtics used him in a little bit more of an off-ball role at times, just so he can have that as a wrinkle to his game and they can have it as a wrinkle to their offense. It would be very interesting to see how it works. Getting him some catch and shoot looks would be nice. And the rest of your players are good enough where you can be like, okay, like if they're the defense is going to defer and let those guys go at the rim without the help off of Tatum, then fine.
Mhm. Yeah, I think Tatum using him as a screener more would be interesting. That's something we've talked about a lot. I think he did it a little more last year, especially
Mm.
with Derek White. They screen for each other a decent amount, but really getting into more of that, especially with Jalen, would be an interesting thing to see if he can commit to it and see if the Celtics add it into the game. But yeah, I mean, you weren't going to get any other answer outside of this from Tatum, like you mentioned at the start of the video. Like, it was always going to be, yeah, I hear it. Yeah, I didn't enjoy hearing it, but whatever. Like, won a title, won a gold medal. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm just going to be a professional and move on. And what else do you want from him? Like, what else is he supposed to say? I feel like everyone's gonna want this big like complain session from Jayson Tatum. This big, oh, this sucked. I hate this guy. That's never who he has been as a player. That's never who he will be. He's always been this low key guy, and that translates to the court. And that's another reason people pick on him. So you're just never gonna get that version or that side of Tatum because I just don't really think it exists. Like, I don't think he's the type of guy to air out his grievances publicly, which I, for one, am grateful for. I think that's probably a pretty good thing, all in all.
Yeah, he's pretty drama free overall. And when it was all going on and people were picking on him, you were like, well, I don't know why people are hating on this guy. He literally just goes and plays basketball and then goes and hangs out with his kid. He's not somebody causing a stir. He's not causing trouble. He's not running his mouth in press conferences. He's been very just mellow ever since he joined the Celtics. He's really tough to deal with in a sense of like our perspective because you don't get anything interesting out of him. He's just like laid back. He doesn't really get too high or too low. And he's not going to give you any kind of flair like Anthony Edwards will give you. And I think people hold that against him too. Obviously, with all the stupid aura discussion, uh, that is a key talking point for many.
Someone in our TikTok comment said technically 2K has an intangibles rating, so technically does have an aura rating if you really want to talk about it, because they can just put that
I
up and
meant to
down as
ask
they
him about
please.
that. Be like, what is the point of that? Because I've
It's
seen videos on it, and it's like there's no translatable value to a
like,
game.
no, because if you move up and down the intangible rating in 2K, players' ratings like change at different paces, if that makes sense. Like, they'll go up and
Yes.
down. So I wonder if it's just like let's say you input all this data and Ant's only like an 88, but you're like, oh no, but like he's got to be higher than that. You just jack up the intangibles. Like, oh, are 2K ratings out officially? Like all of them, or just like the overalls?
Oh, I don't know if you can go through and look.
Because I want to see who has the highest intangible rating. Because to me, that screams worst,
Yes,
worst overall player.
it's big name that people think is good,
Yeah.
but probably isn't that good, or
Mhm.
needs to be inflated, but they don't necessarily bring a whole lot skill set wise.
Mhm. Yes. Also, I just found like this website that has all the ratings. It's like 2kratings.com, whatever. And the only two it lists for each player is dunk and 3-point rating. And the Celtics 3-point ratings are lower than I thought they'd be. But
Hmm.
that's irrelevant to our conversation. I just saw it and was interested by it. Like
What's Tatum?
Tatum's an 87, which
Probably
sure.
too high.
Brown's an 85, which sure. But then like Derek White and Drew Holiday are 85, 86 when they just shot
Yeah,
like,
no, neither of those guys should be lower than
you know what I'm
Tatum.
saying? Yeah. And then Pritchard's an 82. Hauser's an 87. Just it doesn't make much sense. But anyways,
Whack.
yeah, it's a bit odd. That's okay though. Anyways, I think that's about it. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let us know what you think of Tatum's comments. Again, it's pretty standard. It's pretty exactly what you expected from him, but he did finally talk about it. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and all that. Sam, take it out.
Yeah, and shout out to Jared Weiss. It's a good article.
Shout out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us what you think, and hit the bell. You don't want to miss any of our daily uploads. Do pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, game recaps coming at you the morning after each game. And other videos like this one are going to keep you busy up until the season starts and then during the season when there are no game recaps or pods for you. You can find us via email, hbtcpod@gmail.com. All shows are not all shows, sorry. I messed it up. It's usually Spotify and Apple. All pods and game recaps are there. So just follow us there. Email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. You can get in touch with us. We read your emails on every show. We love to hear from you. So let us know what you're thinking. hbtcpod@gmail.com. The socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook's just the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jack's1NBA. Mine's at Sammy Friends.
Taco, come on.
Taco.